Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So originally this was going to be a POV going up in the mountains doing some landscape photography, but unfortunately the weather has been absolutely horrific here the last week or so. So we did go out and try and film some stuff, but honestly, like it was one of the coldest, windiest days that I've experienced since I've lived here, and so we kind of scrapped it after about 20 minutes. I did, however, get a few shots in the 20 minutes or so we spent there before realizing it was far too cold. So I'm gonna stick them on screen now, and while I do, I'm just going to talk a little bit about what this video is actually going to be instead of what was originally planned. So something I've been meaning to do for a while is a what's in my bag video. I've seen other people do these before, just kind of talking about what is in their camera bag. And this is basically going to be what's going to be in my camera bag for the year, pretty much. It's mostly going to remain unchanged, other than a couple of things I'm probably going to add to it throughout the year. So here that is. Okay, so first up is the camera itself, Sony a7 III. I've had it for about 4 or 5 months now, and I'm absolutely loving it so far, especially in terms of its low light capabilities. I've shot a few gigs with it, and it's been incredible. In terms of getting used to a full frame camera, that has been tough at times, going from having used my crop sensor, which was the Sony a6100 before, but I am now getting used to it, and I'm really excited to get more use out of it. As I said at the start of this video, I was trying to go out and do some landscape in the last couple of weeks, but yeah, the weather's been horrific, and you know, I don't mind a bit of bad weather, especially landscape stuff. It can enhance shots, to be honest, and kind of enhance shooting days, but to the point where it's been difficult to get out with kind of just how windy and cold it's been. I have mostly shot street stuff so far with my a7 III, so I am excited to see what it can do in landscape environments. Okay, so next we're going to talk about lenses. So I actually only have 2 currently in my camera bag. The first of which is a 28-70 millimeter. It's a Sony optical steady shot kit lens. I've seen it bundled in with the a7 III when I was like browsing deals online. This one's a used one, but it does the job all the same. I would say I have a little bit of a like love-hate relationship with it, because when I've took some of my shots, I'll look at them and be like, it looks a bit flat, I won't be too happy, and then I'll go back and look at some of the stuff I've edited that I've shot with this, and I'm like, I love it. So yeah, it's a nice lens. I can see the difference between my other lens, the 50mm, in terms of, like I said, looking a bit flat, but I'm happy with what it can do. So yeah, that's the first one. Okay, so the second lens that I have in my bag is a Sony 50mm. It's a full frame, f1.8. It goes down to... What is it? Someone want to be involved in the video? Come on then. Someone wanted to be involved in the video, I guess. f1.8 is what it goes down to. It's really versatile. Most photographers, you know about 50mm and how good a focal length it is. This has been really useful for me for low light stuff, just because of the wider aperture that it goes to. I've shot a few gigs with it, and I do a lot of my nighttime stuff with it. So yeah, 50mm lens, there it is. So I actually have another lens on the way at the moment, which is a Sony 55-210mm OSS lens. I actually had one previously, and I sold it when I upgraded to my a7 III. I was just thinking, like, I'll switch to all full frame lenses now, and to be honest, I actually really ended up missing the lens, especially in doing street photography stuff, and with some landscape stuff as well. Just with it being a kind of medium telephoto length lens, it's really useful for doing street stuff and for, you know, further away landscapes. So I I thought I'm going to get one again. It wasn't too expensive, so that's on its way at the moment, and I'm really excited to shoot with it again because I've missed it, honestly. So next up in my bag is my GoPro. If you watch any of my other videos on my channel, you'll know that it's mostly POV photography, which this is crucial with. I always use this chest harness with it. Basically, just goes on there, and yeah, you just get my perspective of things while I'm taking shots. Pretty straightforward. Yeah, it's a GoPro. It is what it is. Okay, so next up is my remote shutter. This was a gift from my girlfriend Emily, who you'll have seen in some of my videos. So what I use this for is any long exposures, basically just making sure that I don't shake the tripod while pressing the button. Obviously the other way you can do it is through setting a timer for the shutter on your camera itself. But I prefer this because if you're doing anything where you want to be in the shot, obviously self-portraits, if you're trying to do any sort of landscape shots where you need someone in it, you don't have anyone else there, you could use this. So it's good for that. That's the main uses I've found from it. So yeah, remote shutter. Okay, so next up is my flash. It's a pretty basic flash. It's I bought it off Amazon. It wasn't too expensive, but it does the job. I bought it because I was doing a photo shoot for my sister's baby. She wanted to do like a cake smash style shoot for her birthday, for my niece's birthday, and so that's pretty much the only use I've got out of it so far. But it's something you're going to want to have if you are trying to get work through photography, especially doing portraits and that kind of stuff. And I'm going to get some more practice out of it soon and get to grips with it a bit more, because I've not had a lot of use out of it, but it does the job. It's a pretty basic flash. Okay, so the next thing in my camera bag is this lens ball. Comes in a nice little bag. You've probably seen these all over Instagram, but it's basically just like a little reflective ball. Again, this was a gift from my girlfriend. It's not something I've got a lot of use out of yet, but it's a cool little thing. I've taken a few shots of it. But yeah, you can get a little bit creative with it, and you know, try some different stuff when you're out on a shoot. Okay, so next we have tripods. So I've got this mini one. I bought this when I was going to Florida. My idea was to do a few long exposures. I actually didn't end up doing that many. I did a couple of if you watch the video of the Hard Rock Cafe, that was pretty nice, but I didn't end up putting it in my video because it wasn't one of the best ones I've ever done. But yeah, I'm sure I'll get some use out of that at some point if I go traveling again, and obviously don't want to take a full-size tripod with me. So I've also got my standard tripod, which I'm using for filming right now, so I'll stick some shots in there of it. But yeah, it's a tripod. If you're a photographer, especially if you do landscape stuff, it's a necessity for any photographer really. Okay, so the last thing in my camera bag is these. It's basically some lens cleaner, some fluid. Basically, just give a little spray on the lens if it gets dirty, and then a little brush for dusting it off. I did have a little wipe as well, but I don't know where it's gone. So I should probably order another one of those. But yeah, lens cleaning stuff is pretty standard if you're out on a shoot, especially in harsh conditions where it might get dusty or liquid like rain on your lenses. This sort of stuff is perfect. So what I will say is that gear it's not integral to you being successful as a photographer, but there are little bits that are going to help you along the way. You could have the most expensive camera, the most expensive lenses, but if you don't know what you're doing, then you're not going to be successful. It's about knowledge really, and for that reason you should be just learning constantly, either through going out and trial and error, or through watching, you know, tutorials, reading books, whatever your way of learning is. That's what you should be doing. And that's honestly why I've stuck with a pretty cheap bag of gear up until now. A lot of my stuff I've bought it's used stuff, or you know, entry level kind of gear, and then I'm slowly kind of upgrading. So yeah, I think that's a good way of doing things. It's my way of doing things. It might not be yours, but I'm happy with it. Okay, so thank you so much for watching, guys. Hopefully, if you are a beginner to photography, this video could have given you some ideas for some cheap gear that you could buy and add to your bag. If you did enjoy the video, please give it a like, please subscribe, and go and check out my other work, and I'll see you in the next one.